Caffeine Blood, Swamp Edition, a Stir the Fallout story. Mark Watoshik didn't come to the swamp looking for answers. He came because sleep stopped working. At first it was just bad nights, too much noise in his head, too many half-finished thoughts pacing like caged animals. So he did what anyone does. Coffee, then more coffee, then the kind of gas station energy drinks that taste like battery acid and bad decisions. But somewhere along the way, something changed. The caffeine stopped wearing off. They said the swamp outside town had always been off. Old folks called it a place where things just settled wrong. Not haunted, not cursed, just misfiled. Like reality had dropped a few pages and never bothered picking them back up. Mark didn't believe any of that. Not until the third night that he went without sleep and started hearing the hum. It wasn't loud. That was the problem. It just sat behind everything, under the buzz of the lights, beneath the chirping insects, even under his own pulse. A low, steady vibration like something enormous breathing through the ground. And every time he took a sip of coffee, it got clearer. By the time he found the trailhead, his hands wouldn't stop shaking. Not from nerves, from energy. Too much of it. His veins felt tight, like they were carrying something thicker than blood, something faster, something that didn't want to slow down. The sign at the edge of the swamp had fallen over years ago, half sunk in the mud, letters eaten away by time. But one word still showed through the rot. Water, crossed out. Rewritten underneath it in something darker. No. Mark laughed when he saw it. Not because it was funny, because it felt like a punchline he'd been walking towards his whole life. The deeper he went, the quieter it got. No wind, no birds, just that hum, growing louder, stronger, closer. He checked his phone at one point, out of habit more than anything. No signal, no time. The screen just flickered, like it didn't want to commit to being on. That's when he noticed the water. It wasn't moving. Swamps are supposed to ripple, shift, react. This didn't. It just sat there, black and glassy, like a mirror that forgot how to reflect. And right at the edge was a cup, a cheap plastic gas station cup. The same brand Mark had been buying all week. Same faded logo, same crack along the rim. He stared at it for a long time, because he knew, without knowing how, that it was his, or would be. The hum surged. For the first time, it lined up with his heartbeat, not matching it, replacing it. Mark dropped to his knees. The energy inside him spiked, sharp, violent, hungry. His vision blurred at the edges, colors bleeding into each other like wet ink. And then he saw it. Something moving beneath the surface. Not swimming, watching. It didn't have a shape he could understand. Every time he tried to focus on it, it shifted, like it was being described wrong by reality itself. But one thing stayed consistent. It was waiting. Mark's hand moved before he could think. Reached for the cup, picked it up, empty. He blinked, looked back at the water, then at the cup again. Not empty anymore. Black liquid filled it to the brim. Thick, slick, breathing in slow pulses. The hum stopped. Silence. Total. Absolute. And then a thought that wasn't his. You came here for more. Mark smiled. Wide. Too wide. Yeah, he whispered, voice steady. Perfect. He drank. It didn't taste like coffee. It tasted like momentum. Every decision you ever avoided finally catching up all at once, like speed without direction, like being awake in a way that had nothing to do with sleep. His veins lit up, not metaphorically, actually. Thin, glowing lines racing under his skin, branching, spreading, rewriting him from the inside out. The thing beneath the water rose. Not fully, not yet. Just enough to be felt. The swamp exhaled, and Mark Watoshik stood up. No shaking now. No exhaustion, no hesitation, just clarity, sharp, violent, absolute. He looked back towards the trail, towards town, towards the place he came from, and for a brief moment he couldn't remember why he ever left. But then the thought came again, bring it with you. Mark picked up the cup, still full, still breathing, and started walking. Behind him, the swamp closed back in, like it had never been disturbed, like it had never been there. But the hum didn't disappear. It followed, quiet at first, then stronger, then everywhere. By the time Mark reached the road, it was in the power lines, in the pavement, in the air, and in anyone who needed just a little more energy to get through the night.